our culture is in desperate need of saints. I want to talk with you about a couple of different people who inspire me on my journey, hopefully to become a saint, be with the Lord forever, sing holy, holy, holy with the saints and angels forever. Being a Catholic person today in the world is a very difficult thing to do. And now that depends on your community. It kind of depends on what college you're at. It depends on what your family looks like. But all around, like, it is a very challenging thing to proclaim your faith today, to share it openly today, whether that's your pro-life values, whether that's, the fact that you go to mass every Sunday with people in your family who may think religion is a crazy thing. It's hard to share about it. Boldness and bravery are two very important pieces of the puzzle of becoming saints and being on fire for the Lord in our world today. And the first person, her name is Esther. I don't know if you've read the book of Esther in scripture, but it's one power-packed book of the Bible. If you're not familiar with the story of Esther, essentially the queen steps down because she refuses to be ogled at by the drunk king and his friends.
And I will not lower my dignity, or shame my reign by wearing a royal crown before your drunk, thinly veiled war council.
And a beauty pageant of sorts is held, a modern-day bachelorette.
Speak to you as one not without empathy. I too have stood in the battle and stared into the unknown. But be at peace. This is no warfare you embark upon. This is only the life that a great dreamer could imagine. Or at least it can be, if you so choose to embrace it.
And Esther, unbeknownst to the king that she is Jewish, is chosen to be queen. And the fact that she is a Jew must be kept a secret. Now, Esther, she lives her life as the queen because of her beauty. And her uncle Mordecai, he is part of the king's courts. And he finds out that there is this decree that's being made to have the Jews exterminated.
The annihilation of a people can only be authorized by one who bears the signet of the king himself.
And thus letters were sent into all the land to slay and annihilate all the Jews on the 13th of Adar, some 6 weeks hence, both young and old, men, women, and even children, and to plunder all of their possessions for the sake of the crown.
He brings this to Esther's attention and to say, essentially, that she might be the only person to prevent this from happening to her people.
Do not think that if you keep silent, your position will save you alone from this edict. For if you keep silent, deliverance for the Jews will arise from someplace else, but you will surely perish. Who knows whether you have come to the palace for such a time as this?
The problem is, if you're going to go to talk to the king, you have to be summoned by the king. The king has to ask for you to come to see him. And it's been a very long time since the king summoned Esther, the queen, to talk to him. The other problem is that if you went to the king without being summoned, you risked being killed right then and there. You risked death in that moment. And so Esther knows this. And she takes this all into account, and she says she weighs all her options and says, I know what I have to do to save my people. Like, it is in this moment up to me to do something about this. And do I risk my life by going to the king to say, hey, king, can we have a conversation? Yes, but it's worth it. This is something that I have to do, no matter the cost. And in scripture, in Esther chapter 4, verse 16, it says, go gather all the Jews to be found in Susa and hold a fast on my behalf, and neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day, and I and my maids will also fast as you do. Then I will go to the king, though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish.
Assemble the Jews. Ask them to fast and pray. I will do the same. And if I perish, I perish.
I sit with this scripture and I imagine Esther in this incredible moment for her and for her people. I imagine her saying it with real clarity and confidence to say, if I perish, I perish. If he kills me because I have come to have this conversation with him, he kills me because I've come to have this conversation with him. But I have to do something, and I'm going to do it. And this steadfast bravery is an essential piece of yours and my life as a Catholic young person today. And our response must echo hers. Our response has to echo Esther's, to say, if I perish, I perish. And I have to have and pray for that same confidence in my life and in my life of faith, to say, I haven't looked death in the face, and you may not have looked death in the face. I imagine you haven't looked death in the face because of your views, because of your values. But we look laughter in the face and persecution in the face and all different kinds of other things in the face that are very challenging. Being, ostracized, being, made fun of in our families and our groups of friends, whatever that may be. And we have to get to this place and pray for this place of confidence to say, if they laugh at me, they laugh at me. If this person attacks me for my views, this person attacks me for my views. If this person thinks X, Y, or Z about me because I proclaim my faith, so be it. There is nothing I would rather be doing than proclaiming my faith and living for my faith at all costs. And that's what Esther showed us how to do with that boldness and with that bravery, to say, this is what it is, and I have a choice to make here. What choice am I going to make? To proclaim the good news, right, in my life and in the world today, or not? And so Esther goes to the king. She has that conversation with him. She is not killed, and the Jewish people are saved. The scripture, perhaps you were made for such a time as this. And that is what is said to Esther in this moment, in this time. And that's the reality of your life today, is that you, as a young person who holds the truth in your hands, the truth of Jesus Christ, the truth of the Catholic Church, you hold that in your hands, and you were made for such a time as this.